Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another review. This time is of the SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Cross Z Charge. This is the mid-season upgrade for Banjo, and I love build, so I'm super excited. And as always, I'm super duper biased with Kamen Rider stuff because I absolutely adore Kamen Rider. So let's get started. Banjo is my favorite from the show so far, and I've loved every single one of his forms. So this is one of those underrated forms that I've really enjoyed, and I actually really enjoy the figure even more. I think it translated really, really well. So let's get started. If you've gotten the first Cross Z, which I'll show you in a second, you would know how he got this one in this form, and I don't want to spoil anything. I think you should absolutely go watch the show. But this is his base form on the right, and this is his mid-season upgrade by using a brand new driver, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But using the slash driver here, he uses Dragon Jelly, and the look on it is actually fantastic. I just want to... It's really nice. It's in hollow blue that Bandai decided to use. It is the translucent jelly here. Well, the jelly in the form of reference in the show. The translucent look here. The driver is done really well. The look overall in the silver and the paint, even with the decal designs are at, I'm absolutely loving it. There are some minor gripes, but I'm actually going to get into that right now by starting on the real things. Let's get into the articulation. So the head can look up, it can look down, it can actually tilt side to side. But one of the things that pretty much hindered this figure, the fact that his dragon jelly design on his chest hinders the way he looks towards his absolute left. So looking towards the left, but you can actually adjust it a little because it actually rotates here, as you can see here. I'm rotating it up and down, which allows you to get his head to move into a way where he can do it. But initially, if you're not paying attention, you don't know that you can move it, and you would think it just hinders him. But he can do it. You have to be careful of the shoulder here. So the collar will get in the way of you looking further up or looking a certain way by rotating the head around. But you can pretty much bypass that by lifting up the head gently, turning it all the way around. Not that you need to absolutely turn his head around. Also, please be careful. This figure has pointy top of the head and top here. And although this one is a little bit softer plastic, if you drop it from high enough, it will break. Now, as far as arm articulation goes, the shoulder pads are actually attached to the figure. So as you can see here, it allows you the best articulation you can get, especially with the dragon slash jelly getting in the way. He can only go up this far by lifting it this way. But if you want to rotate it and go around, the arm is lifted with no hindrances. On this arm, it's not even a problem on the right arm. So as you can see, the arm does have a double joint, and it can bend really far up. Just be careful not to scratch the paint here on the arm. There's bicep swivel as well, and there's hand pivot joint there's a hand rotation here as well. Now, as far as ab crunch, this one is tricky and actually pretty brand new, at least for these kind of figures. What happens is there is a flap here that allows it to go forward a little. It allows you to get a better amount of articulation going side to side. Now, sometimes it'll let you go a little further in by tucking it under the belt. That way you get a little bit of ab crunch, but it does not go over forward. It just goes a little bit into, but it actually gets a great amount of articulation going backwards. So I wish there was a little bit more ab crunch, but considering the design, I don't think that's pretty much possible. But what does make up for it is the fact that the legs can actually get a really good amount of articulation by using the old school drop down method. Drops down just a little bit. There's an extra little bit of thigh swivel. So what happens here is that you can actually manipulate ab crunch, the look of it, with the figure without actually having ab crunch there. So as you can see here, he has a really good amount of articulation here. So as you can see, he can get into a crouching position and look like he's hunched over in the figure, even though he's really not. He's just positioned really well to do so. So there's a great amount of ankle pivot between articulation and thigh rotation that allows you to do this. And I think that's really dope. The one thing you do have to wear out though, the one thing you do have to be careful of is the fact that paint rub here. So from bending it and allowing too much pressure on can cause paint rub. So you need to absolutely be careful when doing that with this figure because of the light colors. So let's get you into a really cool pose while we talk about your accessories. One thing I want to also add is that on the scrap driver, you can pull the lever for the wrench. and you can remove the dragon jelly. It is actually really difficult for me to do that, but you can remove it. So let's move Banjo into a really cool position. Right, set. And let's talk about his accessories. Banjo comes with 2 open hands. If I can just find the other one here. Oh, I'm actually missing a hand. But you get 2 open hands like this. One left and one right. And that's for holding the twin breaker. As you can see here. We'll get into that in a second. Next up, you get the 2 open palms. One you see here, one you see there. These are more of a fighting hands, or you can use them as passive hands as well in that case. Then there's a hand for strictly holding the the slash driver. You actually put the hand on, and it's made specifically for holding the slash driver. Sorry, I keep saying scrap because I'm thinking of scrap finish. But then you get 2 closed fists as well. I definitely need to find that other hand. I don't know where it went, but I'll find that. And then next up, you have the twin breaker. Now, what's really cool about the twin breaker is the simple fact that the twin breaker comes with, at least for Banjo, you actually still get his little buddy Crush Dragon. And you can actually use the Dragon Bottle, because it comes with an extra one inside the twin breaker, and use it for one of his finishers. So you can actually slide it in. Oop, let's make sure it slides in properly. There we go. And it actually can go inside. So you can actually use it in what's called attack mode, like this. And this is not a parts former, so I think that's really cool. So you can push it in and rotate these out. And this is for the beam cannon mode. It's not much, but in the show you'll see what it is. So you can hold it. So you actually use it for the finisher. You can also get an extra dragon bottle, as well as a Crush Z Dragon. So I think that's cool. So if you ever lose one from your Crush Z Dragon, you actually use it on the Crush Charge one. That's pretty dope. Now, real quick, we're going to do some size comparisons compared with other lines, as well as the guys here that we already have, and the build series so far. So first up, we're going to compare them with the build stuff. Let me get them in a cool spot. There we go. Banjo looking cool. First up, we have Night Rogue. So here we go. Here he is next to Night Rogue, who seems like he's a bit taller, which is pretty good. We want that. Bad guys seem to be a little bit more intimidating when they're taller, obviously. Meanwhile, tiny bad guys terrify you. Like, you don't know what that guy's thinking because he's smaller than you, and he might always be angry. He might have a Napoleon complex. Here he is next to Bloodstalk, who also seems a tad bit taller than Banjo. So that's good. Bad guys seem taller. Good guys seem a little bit more, down to earth with us. Next up, we're going to compare him to his previous form, which is his base form, Cross Z. They both look good together. I like this. Then we're going to compare them with Rabbit Tank Sparkling. So I think they all look really good. I love the build series so far. These guys all look fantastic. It's amazing how good these came out. Next up, we're going to compare it to an X8, which is Gem Level 0. And we're just doing that because X8 was the previous series, so we want to see what those figures look like next to it. And Gem Level 0 looks really good, especially next to him, so that's pretty dope. Next up, we're going to compare it to a Mezco. And we're going to jump around and do a little differently. Here he is with the Punisher, who doesn't look all that much smaller than him, but still smaller than him significantly. An Articulated Icons Ninja. Let's fix this height. So the ninja stuff always look like it scales well. The AI stuff and the 1000 Toys carb always look fantastic pretty much with any line. And I like the fact that they can. I think that's really good. Next up, we have a Marvel Legends Killmonger. What else can I... Oh, and last but not least, we have a Storm Collectible Scorpion. Oop. The figure just dropped in. So all in all, while the Bandai stuff is usually the smallest of stuff, they absolutely look well just with just about any and everything. I've done it all the time, and I love crossover stuff. So it's one of those things I truly do enjoy. In the meantime, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll be as biased as it is because I love Kamen Rider. I hope you found it informative. And most of all, I hope you do good, be good, drink your water. Later, guys.